Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Crones and the Woo Woo. I am your Dragon Slayer Crone and Word Witch, Gayle Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. To my side, we have Ms. Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing on Facebook. And supporting us, as always, from below, we have Ms. Damaris Samolinski, who has Asked the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. Welcome, ladies. One of the three of us is in the midst of a snowstorm. Guess which one?
Yeah. Okay, let's not tell anybody. Let's see. Who can guess who's in the middle of a snowstorm?
There you go. All right. Come on in.
I'm all about guessing right now. I'm all about that.
Oh, hi, Harry. See, Harry's here. Harry's here. Oh, my goodness. Welcome. Oh, there's one guess. Sue guesses that it's me. So come on in and give us your guess. Which one of the three of us is in the midst of a snowstorm right now? All right, ladies, this is an exciting week. Mars in Aries has been in my head for the last day or two. I'm not even sure what I think or anything at the moment. I'm just like being in this space of outside my comfort zone. And Damaris, you're going to explain this shit later on.
I am. I was thinking about talking about this because it actually goes in today. And I'm going to bring in the viewing aspect as well so that you might understand what you're going through, because I'm going through similar stuff. So,
nice. And I'm fine right now.
Yeah, all of her belongings are out there in the world somewhere, but she's absolutely fine.
But I'm good. You know,
I absolutely loved your videos of the packing out process and the emotional processing that goes along with it, Krista. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think I did my hardest thing today, though.
Yeah.
You did?
I did. I did my hardest thing. Well, my hardest. I had to put Blue, my car, my Mercedes. I had to put it up for sale today.
Oh,
yeah, that is
so.
That's a hard one for me because I love that car.
So there is a loss that you're going through, parting ways with different things and people.
Yeah, there is. And it is. And it is a process. Actually, that is serious in terms of selling Blue, but it's okay because I know the sale of Blue means I'm getting a new car. So, I'm okay with that. But the biggest process, honestly, it will be once we've actually landed in the United States. And that's the aspect that people don't understand. Once you've lived overseas and you have culture shock when you first go to live outside the country. And I think that people, when they transition from state to state, will experience something similar.
Yeah.
However, when you move back to the United States, especially if you move back to an area that you've lived in before, it is, we refer to that as reverse culture shock, because remember, in your mind, where you lived before, ultimately you put it on pause.
Yeah, it stays frozen in time in your head, doesn't it?
In your head, yeah. So then you go back and, streets may have shifted and changed. And what I mean by that is when we went back to Chesapeake after living in Australia, when we went back to Chesapeake, Virginia, to see everybody, actually on our way out here, new roads had appeared. I mean, I knew that they were coming logically because they had been in the planning and they sent it out. I mean, we voted on it and I voted on it. I mean, I knew this was all happening, but I hadn't seen it. So that was a real, kind of it happened.
Going back to what we were saying before, I feel like we're all going through it. It's just you're going through it in a different form than Gayle.
Much. Oh yeah.
We're going through it.
I can directly relate to what Krista's talking about on a continental U.S. level, because I went from Michigan to Arizona to back to Michigan, and I went from Bennington to the rest of my life, and then back to Bennington. So I mean, I get, especially the street thing, because the street that I lived on in Bennington when I used to live there was called Bradford Place. And now it is a different name. It's the same street, no redesign, no improvements, but they changed the name of the street. So, yeah, I mean, it's very Mandela effect, right?
Yeah.
What was real?
It is. I mean, it is. And that does happen. So no, you're right. I appreciate you guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know. I loved the fact that you guys played Guess My Weight, because it was so much fun. It was so much fun for us on this end, because I'm like, well, people are guessing the weight. And I'm asking Frank, he's the lead. And I'm like, Frank, so what do you think the weight? And at first he was like, oh, I think you're going to, be probably just under 15,000. And then he comes in the other day, it was Thursday, and he's like 15,000 pounds. Yeah. And then he says,
you mean the furniture?
No,
furniture, all our belongings. Our furniture and our belongings and stuff. He goes, those minerals that we packed, they were really heavy.
I haven't been on Facebook lately, so I was thinking about your weight, your weight.
Yeah, I'm 15,000 pounds.
In the Netherlands.
I'm like, what? Yeah.
Oh my! I'm actually kind of surprised that the end weight didn't end up more, because, like you said, your team lead guessed just under 15,000, but rocks and crystals to the extent that I'm sure you have, even after purging to the neighborhood. I mean, I would have thought a little bit more than an extra, 115 pounds?
Yeah.
What was the final total?
Yeah, it was 15,110 pounds.
110.
Yeah. So no, ultimately, I mean, because we move, I've been very good about what I purchase for crystals, which probably scares Kevin.
I'm so excited about today's crystal. Oh my God.
Which probably scares Kevin a lot, because he's like, he knows my aspirations of some of the things that I would like to bring forward into our life. So I have a feel it's going to get exciting.
Would one of them happen to be one of my bucket list items is to get like a 4 or 5 foot tall amethyst cave, you know? And then cut a slit in the top and put a long sword down into it, and then put some little LED lights inside that shine on the sword and on the amethyst.
There you go.
That sounds like it was.
I'm registered at Tiffany's. That's my Christmas list right there.
There you go. I'll tell you. That sounds like a pretty awesome. That sounds like it would be pretty awesome. No, I saw this place, and it's in New York, and I need to see if I can find it again. So I saw a video of this crystal shop in Healing Space. So they had caves. They had amethyst caves, and they would make these amethyst cave beds.
Oh, wow.
And so you could lay on amethyst. Then they would put the caves so they were around your head and around your feet. And I'm like
an MRI machine-ish.
Yeah, like kind of like that. And for me, I'm just like, that I would like that.
Move you into space,
with selenite. I would love selenite logs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just like, yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
There you go.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time. I need to get back to the States, and we need to, get through a few things before anything extreme starts to happen.
Right. Like rose quartz bathtubs and amethyst, day beds.
Exactly. I'm not sure my parents would allow me to put a rose quartz bathtub in, though.
I don't know. I think, with a few well-placed negotiation strategies.
My dad would be like, I don't want to reinforce the floor. He'd go all engineer on me. I'd be like, dude.
Fair enough.
That's small things. Let's not fit. Oh, we don't have to worry about that structural engineering.
Right? It's only 2,000 pounds. It's nothing.
It's nothing. It's all good.
So we end up in the basement. So what?
Yeah. It's like the floor will bear the load until you put the water in it.
Yeah. That's when the problem. Okay, so I'll solve that one by just adding rose quartz crystals to my tub.
Yeah,
that's a nice idea. Isn't it wonderful that it can work that way? Absolutely.
It is. Isn't it wonderful? It does. It works beautiful that way. Yes, indeed.
So let me ask you this, Krista. Do they celebrate Valentine's Day in the Netherlands the way we do over here?
Okay, so this is a very unique Valentine's Day because today, of course, is Fat Tuesday for Mardi Gras season. Over here, it's Carnival season or Carnival. And so essentially it's Mardi Gras, but they call it Carnival because tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. So last year for Valentine's,
you have to eat them immediately. All of them?
If you give up chocolate, there are more important things to give up than chocolate, as far as I'm concerned. How about, giving up being hateful to people, or giving up being judgmental, or, giving up being, rude, or, giving up, we could all, come up with a few other things than chocolate.
And now it's 40 days, right?
Pardon?
For 40 days?
Yeah, it is. It's for 40 days, except if you actually count, it's 40 days and it doesn't include Sundays. So people, I learned that being at the Vatican, by the way. Any, practicing Catholics who want to know where I got that information from. I got it from a Monsignor on the Rota, in the Rota, which is the Supreme Court for the Catholic Church. So there you go. But in any case, yes. So Sundays don't count in that 40 days.
And hopefully people make a total shift, not just for 40 days.
That's my whole thing. Don't complain. Give up complaining. There's something to give up.
That's a good one.
I like that one. That's one of my favorites. Is give up
it's so funny
complaining.
you're saying all these things, because what I have to talk about in my podcast is similar to what you're saying.
Yeah,
I've always loved that for Lent, right? Giving things up, and growing up where I did, there was a lot of Polish and Irish Catholics, and then there were the Methodists and the Baptists. And if the Catholics were doing it, the Methodists and the Baptists probably weren't.
Yeah.
Right. So giving them something up for Lent, we didn't have to because it was a Catholic thing, right? Exactly. But then some of us kind of took it on like, all right, well, it can't hurt to dial back your sugar intake for 6 weeks. So, we'll just do this as well. And what I found for myself, being non-Catholic, giving up for Lent, was that it forced me to live much more consciously. I had to think about what I was doing. So it doesn't, I think that's the most valuable thing of this whole Lenten exercise, really, is not what you give up, but like Krista said, you could give up all kinds of things. It's the conscious living that is the shift there.
Yeah. Exactly. No, and that is really true. For me, when we were practicing, that was a big part of what it made you do. Is it did make you be conscious and aware of what you were doing. So back to answering your question, if they celebrate Valentine's Day, I did see. I have not. I actually have seen Valentine's stuff. However, it is overshadowed here by everything that's Carnival, which is, you know, I'm going to guess that if I was in the Mardi Gras area of the United States, Valentine's Day would be overshadowed by Mardi Gras as well. You know, that's kind of, you know, my take on it.
Kind of more regional preference where you're at.
Yeah. And I mean, I do know, I mean, we have lots of really great crafted chocolatiers here. And I have a feeling tomorrow, if you go to the florists, there'll be flowers galore for Valentine's Day. Kevin, the first Valentine's we were here, bought me this enormously fantastic bouquet. It was orchids. It was huge, and it was fantastic, and it really was beautiful. So, you know, and yeah, they do different things. Last year we were in Romania for Valentine's Day. So, and that, Kevin, they did Valentine's Day off the hook over there.
Really?
Yeah, it was really amazing. There were Valentine's Day hearts everywhere. And when we walked into our hotel room, they had rose petals.
Nice.
Everywhere. I had this huge bouquet of roses. It was amazing. And dinner, because Kevin got us to set it up so we could have a special Valentine dinner there. It was really,
such a good sport, Kevin.
He is. Well, as he said, he's like, he has a lot of making up to do. So,
well, you know, in the future, I know, Krista, you and I have talked about this. Damaris, I'm sure you've been in on the conversations, but not necessarily as direct, I think, as Krista and I. But when she gets back here and we start doing our weekend getaways and our retreats and all of that, I want Kevin to put together a nice afternoon seminar for the husbands or partners, right? On how to love a witchy woman.
Oh, how to love a witchy woman. He's laughing. You can use your porn. You can have your porn stash. He's growing a mustache right now. I
love it.
His beard and mustache are great. The mustache haven't quite figured that one out yet.
You got all the time in the world to get used to it now.
Well, until he can actually grow the beard. June 1st, the beard will start as well. Sorry.
Good luck. Speaking of starting, let's get Miss Damaris on the road here.
Yikes. So much today. Mars goes into Aquarius, joining Pluto in Aquarius. And then on the 16th, Venus is going to go in and join, you know, as well. Mercury is already was already there, went in on the 5th. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Mars, but then I want to talk about both Mars and Venus is really where I want to focus, where they're joining together with Pluto and Aquarius. So Mars, as you guys know, is all about aggression. It's all about, you know, the planet of war, they call it. It's the red planet of war. It rules our root chakra, actually, because it's the red chakra. And so it's really, I feel like Mars represents really the unconscious person until they go through their process of, you know, becoming aware. And so That's why it's warlike. That's why it's aggressive, and it has all of those energies. So the Pluto with the Mars, combination, it could be very explosive. People can get really upset. I mean, gosh, a lot of things could happen to the unconscious person because obviously they're not conscious. And so they, instead of, responding, they will react, because Mars is also the planet that doesn't think, it just acts. That's all it does. So it doesn't process anything before it actually takes action. So, it could be very tumultuous for someone that's unconscious. But bringing in, which is what I want to focus on, bringing in the Venus with the Mars in Pluto in Aquarius, it is about balancing within ourselves the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Now, what does that mean necessarily? Pluto wants us to get rid of all what doesn't serve us anymore, the behaviors, the patterns, the generational, imprints that we bring in from our, parents and their parents. So it's about clearing. It's about clearing all these generational imprints that we bring in. And, our lives doesn't have to look like theirs. You know what I mean? So it's about working through the process, clearing, a lot of the things. It's so funny because last night my sister has issues. She has something going on with her bones, almost like the beginning of osteoporosis, if you will.
Okay.
And so when I look at that, because I also do medical astrology, when I look at that, I look at the bones are ruled by Capricorn, which is Saturn ruled. And Saturn has to do with the father. And so, her relationship hasn't been that well with her father. And so it's about clearing and balancing that, understanding all of that and clearing it. And so it also has to do with your whole familial structure, the family structure. So she has to work through all of those layers of the family for herself, because that's the root of the issue. So once she heals the root of the issue, then she can work through the physical aspect of it and get rid of it. So there's so much that connects with all the planets and all the signs, But anyway, the divine feminine wants us to become pure at heart and pure of mind, and to be cleanliness is the word, but in all aspects of the word. It's almost like, and when I think about it, it's almost like, the Virgin Mary, and that's what she represented. It was purity of heart and mind. Once we get to clear all of that, become pure of the heart and the mind, and have cleanliness and beauty, cleanliness in all aspects of the word, then we can connect with the divine masculine, and it becomes the immaculate conception, if you will, or the mystical marriage, they call it in astrological terms, where you bring the masculine and the feminine together and create this spiritual orgasm that, where we connect the physical
orgasm.
Yeah.
where we connect the spiritual and the physical worlds, right? We almost like we become the medium between heaven and earth. And that's really what's going on. But we got to get rid of the aggression, the hatred, almost like what Krista was talking about with the Lent, the aggression, the anger, the resentment, sometimes even taking revenge on someone, right? All of those things are part of the Mars energy, if you will. So when we get rid of all of those things, and we have a pure heart, knowing that if somebody hurts us, karma has to come back to them. So it's not our revenge, so to speak. We just have to let the laws of spirit take their place and their time, because it's also timing. Some people that have hurt us, they may not even get their karma in this lifetime. They might have to get it in another lifetime. Who knows? That's not up to us. But the reality is that Pluto wants us to get rid of everything that we are depriving ourselves of at this moment in time. And it's really, we are depriving ourselves because it's the way we think and the way we feel that actually affect us. So when we balance the feelings, when we balance the thoughts, having pure thought and just focusing exactly on what it is that we want to create, then we could actually create it. But when we think about negative things, we also bring that into the mixing pot, you know? And so it's really, Aquarius, because it's ruled by Uranus, which is futuristic, wants us to get rid of all these things so that we can step into who we are here to be and who we said we will become. But before we can become that, we have to clear ourselves of all the things that block us. Generational and whatever, society, you know, all of those things, trusting in ourselves and source rather than external people or forces. And so that's really, you know, the work that needs to be done with Pluto. And once that happens, then literally our souls can be liberated to become who we are here to be, because that's the Uranus energy from the Aquarius that's coming in. So it's a lot of work, I would say, because sometimes it's very difficult to get rid of behaviors and patterns that really affect us, that sometimes they're ingrained in us from birth. And we have to, you know, get out of our own way, if you will. If we don't, we're not going to cross that bridge. We're just not going to cross it.
So it's interesting that you mentioned about some of the, about essentially it's about growth, right?
Yes.
What you're talking about is about growth, and it's about up leveling your life and your energy and your presence in your being, right? And it was very interesting that you were talking about that. I was reading an article today about a croning ceremony, right? We had talked behind the scenes at some points about creating a croning ceremony, you know, to celebrate that part of life, right? And one of the big parts that the person, and I can't even think of her name at the moment, was talking about this, was the fact that it's not just about walking in and saying, okay, yeah, that's it, I'm going to be a crone now. I'm accepting my wisdom. I'm accepting this place of where I am in my life, right? No, she's like, that's only part of it. It's about doing the work.
100%.
Exactly what you're talking about is doing the work.
Yes.
It's about getting to that place in time, not where you don't feel like you have to apologize for how you feel or what you think and what you do. It's more than that. It's deeper than that.
Oh yes, deeper.
It's so deep. It's to the point where if someone says, you know, and they're like, well, why aren't you apologizing? You know that you have nothing to apologize for at that point, because you're just being you. Exactly. You're being the authentic.
And I'm glad you're saying that, because also like fitting in is absolutely, for me anyway, fitting in. I no longer want to fit in. I want to be who I am. And I want to be able to shine that light of who I am. Actually, before I do that, I have to get rid of, like I said before, all of these, you know, patterns or behaviors or generational imprints that I brought into this lifetime from my parents and their parents. So there's a lot of ancestral good stuff, but there's also negative stuff. And that's the part that we need to work through to actually, you know, be able to liberate our souls, if you will, from what's weighing us down, what's, you know, gravitational pulling us down. And so the work needs to be done within the heart, mostly by eliminating anger, resentment, jealousy, you know, feelings of like revenge or getting someone back. All of those things have to be eliminated. And that is exactly the Mars energy that we need to clear. And I just want to add another point, and then I'll do the number and I'll give it to you. This also is, I call it a turnover, because the Mars and the Venus energy in the Pluto, you know, affecting both of them, is also saying when you elevate yourself, your friendships will be elevated. Some will have to be destroyed. Some will go away. Some new will come in, depending on your level of elevation. And so there's going to be a turnover. When people start doing the work, there is sometimes even divorce happens because maybe you're not vibrating at the same energy as your husband or vice versa. And when you begin to do your work and you begin to see life from a different perspective, you start elevating, and sometimes that causes the marriage to break. And that's something you have to be willing to sacrifice for the salvation of your soul, if you will. And what I mean by that is, if we don't clear it, we keep repeating it lifetime after lifetime. It's the wheel of birth, death, and rebirth that never ends until you do your work and you fix it. And so for me, nothing can stand in the way of that. No relationship can stand in the way of that, because I can't keep reliving the same karmic lessons, especially, through the ones that I've been through in my life. So I'm like, I went through all of this in my life. I can't repeat that. I can't, not fix it in this one. I have no choice. And so for me, there is no choice. So before I go, I have to balance it here and now. And so for me, it's very serious, just based on my life experiences and what I've been through. For someone else, it may not be that serious because they might had a better life than I did. And so for me, there is no question. There's no question. And so this energy that's happening this month with Pluto and all that stuff in Aquarius is really about elevating clearing whatever we need to clear, and elevating ourselves to a level where we begin to manifest the life purpose, and we begin to align with the people that are in that new level. And some will be left behind, and some will come. We don't know who's who at this point, but what we cannot do is stay back, because then we keep repeating, the lessons.
So here's my advice about knowing who's who. If you feel like you need to chase them, that means you need to let them go.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That's really a good
it's the universe's way. This is the universe's way of giving you the gift of understanding when people are pulling away. Yeah. And you feel like you need to reach to bring them in. And there are some people that it's the pull is different, and you'll you understand. But I've watched people chase the person that they aren't supposed to be chasing. It's like
100%. But this also feels like a death. Because Pluto is about death, whether it's symbolic death or physical death. In this situation, we're speaking symbolically, metaphorically. So we're going through a death, because if we have to let go of friends or family or a husband or a wife, that is a death. That is.
It is.
But it's the sacrifice that needs to be made if they're not willing to elevate, if they're not willing to do their work. It is the sacrifice that needs to be. And
I'm going to point out too, even if they are willing to do their work, maybe their work doesn't take them in the same direction of elevation for us, right?
You can go,
and that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah. But it does feel like a death. It does feel like a death. And that's
I'm sure.
What I was trying to make. The number 5, which is today's number.
Yeah.
All about liberation, all about change, all about, exploring new territory, new life, new areas that we haven't experienced before. For you, Krista, you're coming back full circle. So you're coming back to a place where you already been. Obviously, there's something unfinished there that has to be finished. So it's about, changes even of the environment that we live in, the location that we're in. It's so much going on. And all I say is, bring me to where I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to get in my way. I'm not going to resist anything. I'm just going to go with it, because obviously they know more than we do. Spirit, the universe, source knows more than we do. And we have to allow ourselves to experience new things, and see where it leads us.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you.
And that little station break happened at 33:33 in our show.
I love that. I love that stone. I love it.
I know. I was going to say, and Damaris has been waiting to talk about this stone for, I think, 3 weeks now. That's when you mentioned emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in any case, so emerald is our stone. It is known as, it works with the heart chakra. Actually, that's the only chakra it works with. And it is known as a life affirming stone. Now, do we have any May babies? Because that's the birthstone for the
My
month
foster
of May.
mom was a May baby. She wore a beautiful emerald on her hand.
And and here's a very interesting thing. Well, we'll go back into. It is currently in the modern birth chart a May birthstone, but in the old birth chart is actually a June birthstone.
Oh,
so I always think that that's interesting when the birthstones flip and switch months.
Yeah.
Especially the more precious stones, which emerald can be, especially the ones that are, beautifully polished and cut. Do I have an emerald? I sure.
Oh, beautiful. It's just so
I
beautiful.
love that.
So beautiful.
That barrel one.
So beautiful.
So it works, and it works with the heart chakra, and it calms our emotions. And it helps to open our chakra up, but it helps to open our chakra up in a way that isn't like it's not like rose quartz, right? It's not like morganite or even malachite, which they kind of work in clear. This one emerald is all about calming the emotions and opening it up so that we are in a more balanced and present state. Okay. And it not only is it about the balance and being present, it's about knowing your own wisdom. So it goes hand in hand with what Damaris was just saying. If you're going to start working with emerald, you're in a place that you're ready to do the work. You're in a place where maybe you've been doing the work and you're just needing that little to get you over the finish line, because that stone is going to help you do that. And it helps us open up to receive the unconditional love that 9 times out of 10, if you're having a problem with your heart chakra, it's you don't feel you're worthy.
Yes.
Of unconditional love.
And
you
Venus
feel like
is about that too. That energy of Venus is about feeling and knowing our worth, our value.
And it is. And there's a lot of that energy going on. It goes back to even what I was saying about this article about the croning ceremony.
Yeah.
And about it being, us being in that place. When we can love ourselves and when we're in that space where we love who we are, you've made it. Yeah. You've made it. But it's not just about loving who you are. When you can love who you are, you easily ooze it out to everybody else.
It is like this, like the pouring.
Yeah, the cup runneth over.
The Holy Grail.
And it is, there you go. It is like the Holy Grail. So
Speaking of Christianity and stuff, right?
Yeah, right. This week with this stone is ideal because, of course, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's all about celebrating love, and it's about celebrating love to the people that you love. But for those who don't, our oldest son, actually, Genevieve is the only one who's in a relationship. Both the boys are not at the moment. But our oldest son, he and I were talking at, an obscene time this morning because I was suffering from a little bout of insomnia. Love menopause. It's fabulous. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't
Alrighty.
mention it earlier, but that was me 2 days before that.
I'm just like
on a work day, like breakfast diner day. I was like, are you kidding
and you're
me?
just
I
like,
just need 1 more hour of sleep.
yeah. So in any case, but Zach and I were chatting, which may be part of the reason why I was suffering from insomnia. So he and I were chatting, and he's like, I'm going to be celebrating Singles Day for Valentine's Day. And, there are a lot of people, I think, and it's across all age groups. It's not one way or another way. And so if you're feeling like this is you, right, take that emerald energy. That picture that Gayle has is beautiful. A dynamite one.
Yeah, beautiful.
Take that energy. You can sit with it and turn that love energy to you and towards you. The more you can love you and the more that you spend loving you and learning, even those parts of you that it's like, you got to love those too. If you love that, it's going to be a lot easier for another person, for you to want to open up that space. Because that space it's going to crack open like an ooey gooey. I'm seeing a Cadbury egg. I can't even stand them, but you know what I mean. You crack it open and it's gooey and it's like, all awesome inside.
Sweet. Super sweet.
Yeah, all sticky sweet. So yeah, the are you okay, Gayle? So
he's sweet. Come on, hon. While I'm drinking. Wow. Continue, please. Let me go get a towel.
Wow, we're the innuendos today. I'll tell you. I hope we don't have too many young ones watching. So in any case, do that work. For Damaris, you were talking about you want an emerald, right?
I do, and it's really because I am doing that work. I want to. We're like an onion, so it's never really done.
That's
so
it.
I want to get to deeper and deeper levels of whatever it is I have to clear.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no intentions on coming back and repeating some of the life experiences that I've had. So I need to elevate my heart chakra with crystals, with essential oils, with pure thoughts, a pure heart. And so I need an emerald. I have some, but they're rough. And I want like the one that Gayle showed in the picture, and I want a bigger piece. I have Moldavite. I've been working with my Moldavite, which is a little similar. I mean, Moldavite is different, but I mean,
Moldavite that works on a much different level than that. So, but what I'm getting for you, and what you need is to get it and wear it around your neck, and it needs to hit your heart.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's going to go between the girls.
Yes, I'll show you my Moldavite.
I
wrapped it myself.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
That's nice. That is a really nice piece. Now, for those who don't know what Moldavite is,
put your hand behind it like a screen.
Okay.
No, there you go.
Like that. Yeah. Now put it up to the camera.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what Moldavite is, it's terrestrial glass.
Can you see it okay?
Yep.
It's better. It's fine.
It was better, but it's a huge piece. Mm-hmm. It's a massive piece. and so it's a really high, ascending crystal to work with. It really isn't a crystal because it's glass.
Yeah.
But for me, I have a piece, and I actually am better now. I actually can work with it longer now than I could when I first got it.
Oh yeah, I couldn't work before with it. No, now I'm able to. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't actually. There were times I couldn't even be in the same room with it.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was. I was like, and I'd have to grab something. I'd have to grab like the obsidian or black tourmaline to ground myself.
I actually have a little black. I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
right there.
Yep.
Nice.
To help ground you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. So
Yeah,
that's fabulous.
I need the grounding.
Oh gosh, I'm with you on that. So yeah, but
Especially
I
with
do.
moonlight, there's nothing grounding about that naturally.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
That's a little black obsidian.
Yeah, that will help. That will help. I don't know if Sue's still on, but she did have some moldavite. I don't know if she still does. I do not know if Class Act Imports has any emeralds of any sort. But yeah, Damaris, we will be going crystal
Yes, when you
shopping.
come home. Yes, definitely.
When
I
I
think
get
it's
home.
like the one Gayle showed. That's
Okay.
and then I'll wrap it because I learned how to wrap, not
Okay.
professionally, but it holds.
As long as it works for you.
Awesome.
So I'm all done with mine. Please enjoy. I mean, I encourage you to really, tap into your own wisdom. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to let your light shine.
No.
Gayle, over.
Hello. Oh my goodness. All right. There's so much just to right now I have in my mind this vision of a corset, the back of a corset. You know how the laces go through?
Yeah.
And then you got that maid behind it. It just goes, and everything just flicks right in. That's what we're going to do with this next segment. Just going to stick it all in line, and everything's going to, be tied with a nice, pretty bow. All right. So where do I want to start? I want to start with the words unconditional love. Okay. All right. But I want to take this back to the first part of what Damaris was saying about the Mars and Venus energy, right? And by the end of the week, we're going to have a full-blown stellium in Aquarius, right? So, Venus, Mars. I mean, just
Mercury.
Right now, I'm already ready to frickin' pull the covers up over my head and go, just tell me when it's next week, please, But there's process to go through here, right?
Yes.
And I want to point out, like what Damaris said, you've got to do the work, right? The work, you don't do the work's going to do you.
Oh, yeah. It's going to drag you through the mud.
Right? But don't let that scare you. I mean, the work here is not necessarily to get into our shadow self and hate ourselves and, oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. How did I ever survive this long? It's not for that, right? No. It's for you to go, oh, Mars knee jerk. This triggers me, and I'm going to emerald my heart and choose Venus.
Yes, 100%.
And it happens like that second, right? And and that's the processing to do, right? To choose the love, to use love as a verb. Back to the words unconditional love, okay? This is where you're going to be presented with these examples of living where you get to learn all 7 of the words the Greeks had for love. Because there's not just, oh, give it to me, baby, kind of love, right? There's all kinds of different loves between brothers and sisters, loves between people who have been put together into, like a demanding situation, and they pulled together and grew a relationship out of that. There's 7 different kinds of love. So you get to find out what these are and where you are putting up that wall that resists receiving that kind of love. Especially here in the United States, we think, especially with Valentine's Day coming up, that the only kind of love that's worth anything is romance.
Yeah.
The least kind of love.
It's true, though. You're right.
It's the least kind of love. It's not familial. It's not brotherhood. It's not fraternity. It's You know, you can find that at any bar on a Friday night for a minute. You know, that is the least kind of love. You know, so you know, we're trying to put all of this, you know, like the innocence of pink roses into it and stuff like that. But in fact, instead of actually looking at what we do that expresses love, right? We go, oh, it's supposed to be like that, right? That's what they tell me that's like. And it's not. And there's something wrong with me because it should be like that, right? No, it shouldn't, right? Yeah. You have access to loving yourself better than anyone else
on
this planet. You know what you need, right? Yeah. And you are the first one to cut off avenues for other people to show you love in actionable terms the way that you want to receive it, either by not asking them to do that for you or pretending that it's not important to you and rejecting it in such a way that the universe gets trained to not give that to you any longer. Right.
Also, so some people don't know how to receive it, Gayle. They didn't grow up knowing how to accept it.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And that's, again, part of this process, like you were talking to. What are those knee-jerk triggers? I don't know how to do this. I'm clueless. I don't know how to let you love me. So no, we're not going to learn that. We're just going to say no, right? Yeah. But this is that time to grab that emerald, put it to your heart, and choose Venus. I don't know what I'm doing here, but this is what I do know. This is how I feel, and these are some of the thoughts that I'm having. And maybe I'm a little bit confused because I'm in new territory here, but I would like to see more of this. I would like to feel more of this. I would like to see you taking these actions that communicate to me love in motion, right? It's not just about saying the words. The words are nice, but without actions behind them, right? They're bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
100%.
Okay. 100%. Without the actions behind them. So now is the time for you, and you could maybe, if you want to, invite your loved one, your special someone, to sit down and do this exercise with you. But go through the 5 love languages. And I want you to look at it from a different perspective, right? I want you to look at those 5 love languages in this point of view. What is my expressive love language? What do I like to do for people that I love? Okay, that's one question. Second question is, which of these 5 love languages do I like to receive the most? Right? And then you've got those, you'll put those in orders 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, and don't be afraid to pick more than one. That's the whole point of this.
I want to add something really quick.
Want to be loved. Okay, go ahead.
I had a client and she didn't like to be touched. Like I was doing Reiki on her, and sometimes with Reiki, you know, you could do it above or you could touch the person. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to be touched. She was abused when she was young. And so she doesn't like anybody touching her. So I don't know if you guys know, but the skin is actually one of the biggest sexual organs that we have, because that's it's touch. The human touch is not only healing, but it shows caring. So imagine people that are going through that with this transit going on, where they have to now start receiving that touch, you know, instead of pushing it away.
Yeah. You know, and be clear, I don't think not talking about a person who is autistic. Okay.
No.
Whereas there's physical sensations that it's never going to change for them. They don't like to be touched. They don't ever want to be touched. It's overstimulating to them. Yeah. But what Damaris is talking about is a situation in which being traumatized has caused her to protect herself by not allowing that form of love, which is exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So looking for yourself, where can I shift from this knee-jerk, no, back up, to, all right, how can I receive this love? Where can I learn differently? And can I take this baby steps? You know, maybe I'll be okay with somebody putting their hand on my shoulder today.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be so okay with somebody shaking my hand and putting their hand further up on my arm today. Or maybe not. Maybe today's not the day for that. And that's okay too. Because the bottom line is that we're here for you to exercise loving yourself unconditionally, accepting who you are and who you're not, so that you can be better and more authentic in relationship with the people who care about you.
That's
right?
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautifully put.
And that's how we find peace and bliss and harmony through a practice of unconditional love.
Yeah.
When we start learning what it is that we react to and how to choose in a more healthy way, and explore all of these different types of love that there are in the world, and stop withholding the thing that we need most from yourself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right. You guys got anything to add on that one?
Miss Krista?
No, I think you did exactly what you said. You were gonna wrap it in a package, tight like a corset, and put a bow on it.
I just also wanted to bring the aspect of people being, going through a trauma, because that's also very difficult to overcome.
It is.
Oh yeah, it is. But it's work. Again, it all goes back to the one, I guess maybe we'll call it the foundation of what this all is based on, is you have to be willing to do the work. It doesn't, and it covers all of it. There's just work that we have to do. There isn't a pill that's going to fix it. Crystals will only help and assist, but they don't fix it.
No.
Reiki helps and assists, and it can smooth it over, but it won't necessarily make it
Neither
all
will the essential oils.
Huh?
Neither will the essential oils, because I use those too.
Right?
Yeah, and I was about to say, and same with the oils. Tapping helps too. It helps, but they're all tools. What I'm listing off are tools to help you with the work, so that the work isn't always feeling like you're walking through an oil bog. Or a tar pit, right? So that it actually, maybe it's less like a tar pit and more like, just you're wading in heavy water. I'd much rather wade in water than.
That's the work that's happening this month with all that stellium in Aquarius. That is the work. If you want to love yourself and receive love, you have to work through the trauma. You have to work through whatever is blocking you in order to get there.
Yeah. And just to also clarify, want to make sure this is not one gender over another gender.
Oh, no.
Just as an FYI. Well, I'm only saying this because sometimes I really feel like that some people,
the internet will run with anything. Period.
Yeah. And it's like, and I'm like, no, this is for, it's across
everybody.
The board. It's for everyone.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So today's card of the day.
Ooh. Wow.
Yes. So can we just look at this card for a second? Is this not just an image that shows exactly what we've been talking about for the last hour? Right? Each individual bringing their cup to healing. That's the Kedacy above them and between them. The lion of strength and courage up top, right? This is all about bringing your full cup to join with those that you love, that you have relationship with, that are the healing for our hearts going forward, right? And of course, today's affirmation, always on topic. True connection arises from a heart that's open and present, right?
Perfect.
You cannot be open and present if you're knee-jerk reacting to trauma from the past.
Yeah,
but when
exactly.
you pull that emerald energy in to your heart, right? And you can choose to open that heart up, be present to the love that's all around you at all times.
Yes.
Right. Awesome.
It was
all right,
perfect.
my ladies. I absolutely adore coming together with you on Tuesdays, even when the morning sucks. My afternoon is going to go so much better because of our time together.
Exactly.
Yes. So love you all, and love you all out there watching us week after week, living in the comments. Love you guys so very, very much.
Happy
Whether you're
Valentine's.
Galentine, I don't fucking care. I love you. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and watch out for the stellium this weekend. Get your journals out, do your work. If you need anything, we're here. See you soon.
That's it. See you soon. Bye.